All right. So I just want to get into this. But anyway, what's going on, Halo Nation? What is up, Angel fans? Your boy, Jordan Trask, back for you guys in our video. So I want to get in my thoughts of the Angels signing 5 guys, including Soler, Hendricks, DArnuad, Newman, and Kikuchi, of course. So we got the breaking news right now. Before I get into this, I've heard some news that we have a former Padre pitcher that's signed a 5-year contract with the Dodgers, including Blake Snell. I know a lot of people are angry about it, but we know Dodger fans are happy about that because we know people are angry about this because Blake Snell signed a 5-year contract with LA. He's now with the Dodgers for now, so that's why. Okay, so for now, I'm going to get into the Angels who signs 5 guys, by the way, with Perry Mendocian's offseason work as a general manager for the Angels. But while the Padres didn't do anything, that's fine because we'll get into the Angels right now because who signed 5 guys. So, Jorge Soler has been a great baseball player because, and reminded me of when he had a Game 6 home run against the Houston Astros. The most baseball team I hate is the Houston Astros because, he hit a home run in Game 6 of the 2021 World Series, which reminded me of when I was cheering for the Braves as a Padres and Angels fan, in my opinion. I was rooting for the Braves because I picked them to win in 5, and it didn't work because they decided to win 6 instead, besides 7. Jorge Soler reminded me of his home run when the Braves won the World Series against the most baseball team I hate, the Houston Astros, because also known as the Asterix, because, And then Travis d'Arnaud, that reminded me of his home run, too, in Game 3. Because, Travis d'Arnaud had a home run, a potential go-ahead home run against the Astros during the Game 3 matchup because, and then Game 4, of course, Travis d'Arnaud has been a great catcher with the Braves because, honestly, dude, you say Kikuchi is not with Houston anymore because I'm happy for the Angels how we got him because, too late now, Jacob Owen, but sorry, dude. Thank you for you say Kikuchi because, and another thing about, Kyle Hendricks, Kyle Hendricks. Because, Kyle Hendricks was a great pitcher for the Cubs that took them to the 2016 World Series and beat Cleveland in 7 games. And because Kikuchi was part of the Mariners roster, including the Blue Jays, besides the Astros, Because, Kyle Hendricks was part of the Cubs pitching roster in Chicago. Because, glad we got Kyle Hendricks, who was an Orange County native. And, what it reminded me of another thing when Travis d'Arnaud owns the Astros a lot, he owns them. Including Jorge Soler, because Jorge Soler was a great baseball player too, because he went to Miami and then goes to San Francisco and then goes back to the Braves. But now he was traded to the Angels, but to my second baseball team, the Angels. And then, Kevin Newman from the Diamondbacks, we just got him. And then, so we did have, that's what it is, That's what it is all is about. So, Jacob, you can talk shit all you want because, hey, thank you for UC Kikuchi. And I'm sure where does Alex Bregman wants to go? I think he wants to go to the Yankees, Red Sox, Tigers, or Mariners. It's not going to be the Astros. It's going to be either Mariners or it's going to be the Yankees or Red Sox. Honestly, right now, Blake Snell signed a 5-year contract with the Dodgers because, the Padres didn't do anything this year because of the offseason. I'm just saying one time, when it comes to, the Dodgers who got Blake Snell, because Blake Snell got a 5-year contract, Dodgers are being rich right now, in baseball. I know that, people are going to be saying, the Dodgers have more pitching rotations. Either if Dustin May wants to pitch or not, obviously at the end of the day, it goes up to this, Obviously, in my point, it goes up and down, because I think it's going to be Detroit for Bregman to join him because he didn't beat him. He would join Detroit too. If as a Padres and Angels fan, I'd be glad if Bregman went to Detroit or Yankees or Boston or Seattle. Either it's the Red Sox, by the way, but if it is the Red Sox, by the way, So, Jorge Soler is always an Astro killer like Travis d'Arnaud since the 2021 World Series because, I always love bragging things about this, in my opinion, like, yeah. And then, yeah, what it goes all into this to the history of their baseball team, the Braves. They've won in 6 games, because I was picking the Braves to win it all in 2021 besides the other teams, either White Sox or Yankees, Red Sox, whatever. I don't believe either. Because, honestly, like, that's why it's funny that the Astros changed the ballpark to whatever that ballpark it is. I was going to think about that. Like, Minute Maid Park's no more. Like, they changed their ballparks because, they've changed it from whoever the Astros ballpark it is. I don't know, but Minute Maid's no more, by the way, because, that ballpark's gone. They changed the name. Like, especially Ron Washington is bringing one of his former Braves players to the Angels. Like, yeah, Perry Manasian is done all of its best. Like, because, honestly, for Blake Snell, like, he got him money with Dodgers because, it's all in his books, Devian Park is the new ballpark name, but it's no more Minute Maid Park because, we don't need to talk about the 2022, by the way, because, Philly should have won it all. But, especially Texas Rangers had their first ring since 2023. Like, I was okay to root for a rival either if it was, as a Padres and Angels fan, by the way, either division rivals would be rooted for whoever plays the Houston Astros, a.k.a. the Asterix. 1, Texas Rangers. 2, Dodgers. Like, I dislike the Dodgers, I would cheer for them if they play the Houston Astros, I would say unless they play the Houston Astros, then I'd be okay to root for them. That's why. Unless I pick the Yankees or I pick Boston. But yeah, either if I pick the Red Sox to beat the Astros, that'd be fun. But that's like 2018 ALCS when Boston knocked out Houston on their payback, especially Pedroia, Bogarts, before Bogarts became a Padre. Bogarts had a great season with Boston, especially owning the Yankees. Like, what he did. And just like when it goes for Mookie Betts, before Mookie became Dodger, he won it all with Boston before he did it with LA, and that's why. But Verdugo didn't do nothing with the Dodgers. But, Verdugo's with the Yankees now because I'm sure where does Juan Soto want to sign? Either if it's him going to stay with the Yankees or I think it's going to be another team, either Dodgers or Mets or Boston Red Sox, either it's got to be some other teams. Because, the Angels had one ring, especially 2002 when we beat San Francisco. But the Padres had beat LA in 2022 because, they beat the Dodgers. Like, yeah. I'm saying, like, yeah, St. Louis did win their 11 rings. When it goes for St. Louis, they had their rings because, they had their last title before Texas's first ring. Like, yeah. And especially, it's always a brink of a downfall for the Astros because it's a downfall for Houston. I mean, Bregman's going to leave the team. He's going to go with Detroit or Boston, by the way, or New York, if it's the Yankees. If it's not the Yankees, if it's the Red Sox. If he's going to go to the Red Sox, then yeah, he's going to go with Rafael Devers. Or if he goes to Detroit. If he goes to the Tigers, then yeah, he's going to have a powerful moment. And also, Bregman's going to beat up his old team when he comes to Houston and plays his old team, by the way. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, yeah. Honestly, like right now, because, Mike Trout might be a designated hitter. Even Mickey Moniak and Jorge Slayer are in outfield. And, Padres have Tatis, have Machado, have Merrill, and Profar. Because we know the Angels have Cal Hendricks and also including you say Kikuchi, because I don't want Cattell to go to the Astros. Like, no, dude, it's not happening because Diamondbacks is always having Cattell forever because I don't want Cattell Marte going to the Houston Astros. Like, I would love for him to stay with the Diamondbacks, which is fun to have him stay like for a bit. Like, obviously, like, when it comes to the Diamondbacks, like, it's like one of its best, when the Diamondbacks have their best rosters, they keep their core together. I obviously need to say, like, Justin Verlander should go to the Padres. Like, yeah. I think Justin Verlander next team is going to be the Padres because he's not going to be staying with Houston. I think it's going to be Padres. It's an interesting thing, like, it's all what it is, especially when it goes for this when it comes for this team, for San Diego, when they go for Justin Verlander. We know he's old already because, just need a rotator. Especially Preller isn't that good either. But, Perry Mendocino could do its best, Astros will not have any money at all. No, they won't. They will never have money at all to have another player signed. The Rays aren't that good anymore because they ain't signing anyone. So, well, especially when Ketel Marte has played a few years with Arizona, but I think he's going to stay more with the Diamondbacks because, like, we don't want him in Houston. Like, no, that's not going to happen. We just say back off because we always do say back off, especially when Ketel is going to stay with Arizona for a few more years. Like, he's always been great with the Diamondbacks. Like, took them to the World Series since 2001. But swept LA, beat Philadelphia. Yeah. Well, yeah, beat the Phillies in 7 games because Diamondbacks were a great baseball team. And then Texas got their first ring. Altuve isn't better than Ketel because, especially Ketel isn't that bad, but he's always better than Jose Altuve. Like, Corey Seager's better than Altuve, by the way, because Seager is always better because when it comes to like Mookie Betts, who's better than Altuve? Trout and Tatis, of course. Judge, of course. Yeah. I say whatever baseball players that is better, like Rafael Devers. Like, Devers is always better than Altuve. See, that's why I'm picking all these baseball players that are better than a cheater, Jose Altuve. I would never say like that. Like, well, who cares about it? Just ignore it, by the way. Just, I always say, like, when it comes to any baseball teams that are better than Houston, we know we were right. We picked Detroit to beat Houston, and we got them eliminated from their World Series hopes, and it's gone. And I think the Dodgers are going to beat the Astros more because they have Blake Snell. Like, I'm glad Blake Snell isn't an Astro either, but I'm glad he went to the Dodgers, but I'm glad he's not an Astro, so thank goodness. But I know some people are pissed about it, but I'm just glad he's not an Astro, but he went to LA because he went to the Dodgers. Because, yeah. But it's very funny that Astros ain't signing nobody, like, nobody. Because, Because, the Astros aren't. The Astros are not going to be good at all because, Look, listen, you are a closet fan for a reason because, even you're a Cowboys fan because, you beat Washington, by the way, because your Cowboys beat Commanders. We just get into football and baseball, But the Cowboys are going to beat the Giants on Thanksgiving, by the way, because, especially Chargers beat Falcons in Week 13 would be perfect. And then lose to KC and then win against either Tampa Bay or Denver and then win against the Pats twice and then series sweep over the Raiders. Because, look, you can't be rooting for both fucking teams. Like, you can't be rooting either Dodgers or Astros because, especially rooting for any teams, like, when it comes to me, when I'm a Padres and Angels fan, when I'm just a Cali guy, I'm just saying. Because it's only me who is a Padres and Angels fan. When it comes to Southern California sports, besides Bay Area, Padres have won the series over Houston, was the best part ever. And the Angels had multiple series wins over Houston. A Yankees swept Astros, which is perfect, and then wins the season series to beat Houston. And yeah. See, that's why, and it comes to this, the best World Series losses for, because, always love to say the best Astros World Series loss was 2005 against Chicago, and then 2019 against Nationals, 2021 against Braves. And yeah, they were always the best World Series losses for the Astros because the best postseason loss was, 2000. Oh yeah, I know the year, by the way, but yeah, 2023 was their loss against the Texas Rangers. And then last year with the loss to the Detroit Tigers, who came back to the playoffs for 10 years later, since 2014. Like, a lot of people are saying America's most people who hate Houston more is anybody. Like, we got Padres, Angels, Yankees, Texas Rangers, LA Dodgers, Pittsburgh Pirates, and look, the Astros are always cheaters. Just like it's football when it comes to the Patriots, who were a scandalism team with the Spygate investigation, and the Deflategate. And what the Saints did in 2009 was the bounty gate because Sean Payton put the Saints to become cheaters. Like, when it comes to, like, to football or baseball, when they're cheaters, if it's Astros and Patriots, Saints, obviously, especially at this point, White Sox broke the curse in 2005 since beating Houston in 4, since sweeping them. The Astros always cheat for a little bit because, yeah, they're always cheaters forever, in my opinion. But in my agreement, yes, they're always cheaters forever. And including Altuve, like, we just make the truth because we don't make lies. We don't make lies at all. Like, we know we make truth. Like, when it comes to, if it is Seattle winning, if it is like the Seahawks winning like 2 Super Bowls since beating Denver and then would have been going back to back against New England, that could have happened. The Saints, they were becoming a bounty gate team that became a cheater since 2009. Sean Payton was suspended. When it comes to the New England Patriots, who are cheaters too because of the Spygate and Deflategate with Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. What is all of it? It does. Well, we know Pittsburgh has done everything against, Seattle because when the refs, especially when it's like Kansas City, the Steelers had referees going against Seattle. Like, especially like Seattle would have, We know Seattle should have won it all more because if it is not either Pittsburgh or New England or Denver. But yeah, they already beat the Broncos in a blowout, 43-8. Like, yeah, they beat Denver, of course. But yeah, Seattle already beat Denver. But if they would have won like either 2 against Pittsburgh and then New England, they could have won like 3 rings because, we know the Patriots used to be dynasties because, they were cheaters. Because, yeah, Spygate to Flakegate, whatever I would ever say that, because, yeah. And that's why the Steelers had their last Super Bowl loss since 2010 when they lost to the Packers because of Aaron Rodgers and Mike McCarthy. You know what, dude? The Kings lost to the Sharks because, like, here it is. If this Ducks team was better than the Sharks, yeah, the Sharks beat the Kings. Like, it was a 5-2. Macklin Celebrini had, like, second goal. Like, he had 2 goals against the Kings because Toffoli and then, see, this is why San Jose had beat LA twice. But, the Ducks already beat the Blackhawks, but also beat Red Wings and beat Stars, of course, and then took the overtime loss. The Kings are a first-round exit in the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs when you lose to the Oilers multiple times. Like 3 multiple times. Dustin Brown retired. Jonathan Quick's no longer on the Kings. But unless they have Kopitar and Doughty, these 2 are staying forever until they retire. And then the Kings missed the playoffs in 2019 and 2020 and 2021. It ain't going to be like, when it comes to football and hockey, Anaheim is just already young too. Like, when it comes to the Blackhawks, like, yeah. When it comes to the Chicago Blackhawks, like, yeah. They always have Bedard, who had its best hockey player. Like, Connor Bedard's good when we have Leo Carlson in Anaheim, especially when it comes to this. When it comes to, like, football, when the Steelers are a playoff number round of an exit, like when the Steelers don't win nothing, like, they have 6 rings, but they have more rings than the Patriots. They have more rings than the 49ers, more rings than the Cowboys because yeah, especially, when it comes to this, when we have other teams who don't have rings, like, we know we have our football team that doesn't have a ring, especially for the Chargers, by the way, because, Vikings and then also the Falcons, honestly, either if it's got to be, for Minnesota, either if it's us Chargers or them to Minnesota because it's the Vikings, or Detroit because the Lions are the first team to be a favorite of winning a Super Bowl for the first time in the franchise. But the Lions are good right now because, Detroit's been that good because, especially Dan Campbell loves biting kneecaps off because just like what he did to the Cowboys, like biting off kneecaps on the Cowboy players, like what the Lions were doing. Because, yeah. And the Eagles, yes, they beat the Rams because, the Eagles took down the Cowboys too when Dak Prescott wasn't playing. And, especially the Raiders suck too, of course, because it's fucking North Turner again and fucking Tom Telesco. Like, Jim Harbaugh is a better coach because, always I got to say, like, when it comes to this Chargers team, Jim Harbaugh is a better coach than Antonio Pierce, better than North Turner, especially because, we will never say goodbye to hopes. Especially when it goes like that, Joe Ortiz was better than Tom Telesco, like, especially because that's why Cooper Rush was being a backup quarterback with Dallas. Like, he was playing like terrible. But, during the game against Atlanta with his replacement of Prescott, like, yeah, Cooper Rush would play very good. Like, he did good against Washington and then should have got tightened up by the Commanders, like, especially at the point. It goes all in because, especially at the point. Like, the Bears, Chicago's not even good, but Green Bay owns them because Packers fucking own the Bears. Like, especially Caleb Williams is not even that good quarterback. But the Patriots aren't good either because they're bad. Especially for Gerard Mayo, who's the worst coach in the NFL to all the Pats fans, including their quarterback, Drake May. Not as for Jacoby Brissett. And, because, that's why people are saying, like, Patriots are terrible, but the Dolphins need a loss versus the Packers. Like, the Packers need to beat the Dolphins, of course. The Lions need to beat Chicago. And then the Cowboys need to beat the Giants. Like, yeah. Like, when the Bills need a win over the 49ers, the Bills need a win over the 49ers. Like, only I'm saying, like, it goes all in. Only I say this, like, at the end of the day, we've said all of it. If it is not. And this is what it is, The Browns aren't making the playoffs too either because Cleveland is bad because, they suck already. Because, Justin Herbert owns Joe Burrow because, we own the Bengals. Like, yes, for this Chargers team, we own Cincinnati because we own the Bengals. And yeah, so we have a record in 2024 against NFC, not the NFC North, excuse me, the AFC North, because yeah. So, just like we have the same as the NFC North from last year, like, but this year against the AFC North, like, yes, against Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Cincinnati, and Baltimore. So yeah. But naturally, but for this Chargers team with the 2-2 record against AFC North teams, including Bengals, Steelers, Browns, and Ravens, we just beat two teams, Bengals and Browns. Because, yeah, we own the Bengals, we own the Browns. That's why. So, the A's are going to Sacramento because it's their new ballpark before Vegas. Because, yeah. And the Jaguars are going to be missing the playoffs, too, when they suck, too, of course. Their coach needs to get fired, including, their backup quarterback, Mac Jones, is always that terrible. So it is what it is. So, but, that's why I'm just telling you what's the truth. And, Carolina is going to miss the playoffs because they suck too either because, but for the Panthers, they aren't that good either because it's the Saints. Saints are terrible. But especially the Buccaneers. Buccaneers need a win over Carolina. And yeah. Especially Philly and Baltimore is going to be tough. But, to each Eagle fans, including Hayden, it could be tougher for you against the Ravens when you play Baltimore. Because, Arizona just lost to Seattle because last week. Because Phil Nevin's not on our baseball team anymore because, Phil Nevin's the worst because we got rid of him. We got Ron Washington better. Because, yeah, we got Ron Washington better manager than Phil Nevin. Because, he obviously just... Well, same as Mike Schill. Mike Schill just stays with the Padres for good, And then also, Ron Washington is the better manager than Phil Nevin. Like, yeah. That's the direction. So, because, yeah. That's the reason people are saying, like, yeah, this is going to be all on the line when it goes all up and down to this. Because, especially Ron Washington's better because he's better than Phil Nevin because he's better. Perry Menasian did his job. His job was to go hire Ron Washington, and that was his job. So, yes, it was better. it's gonna go on and on to this. But anyway, you guys, I'm about to head out. It's your boy Jordan Trask. Peace out. As always, go Chargers, go Padres, go Angels. But I hope you all have a great Thanksgiving break. But I'll see y'all later. Peace out, y'all. Bye.